Or are you an artist that has been struggling to find ways to monetize your work? Have you tried selling prints? You just haven't found a way to do it? Have you tried selling original paintings and they just aren't moving? They're just sitting there hanging on your wall looking at you like, hey, I haven't moved yet. You know, I was there too, and that's what this video is about. I'm going to share how I managed to take my art business and turn it into a successful business that both my wife and I are able to live full time on. You might be thinking, well, why should I listen to this guy? So a little bit about me. I'm a full-time artist. I've been painting full-time for a couple of years now, and I have spent the last like 4 or 5-ish years just ADHD hyper-focusing on min-maxing how to take an art business and make it successful. I was just sick and tired of working full-time. I only did manual labor before, and I was hurting my back, and it sucked. I didn't want to do it anymore. I decided I wanted to paint. I wanted to just take my art and figure out how to make that a livable thing to do and make it actually viable in our current economy, which is rough, right? So through lots of trial and error, I figured out how to make prints, how to sell them well, how to sell original paintings well, how to paint better, you know, just certain tips and tricks that I figured out that now I would like to share to you, because the only reason I figured them out was by having other people give me advice. Now, if you want to sell art full time, there's a couple of things you need to remember. One is that you need to be able to paint well. You need to be able to make art that looks good and that connects with people. Okay, you're probably an artist, you've already made work, and you're confident in selling it. Okay, cool. Now, on top of being a decent artist, you also need to be a business person. You need to be able to paint well, and you need to be able to think in a business mindset. You need to be an entrepreneur, right? I know some people who are fantastic artists, way better than I will possibly ever be, who still have a hard time selling their art because they don't know how to sell it well. And there are definitely wrong ways to sell art. And on the reverse side, there are also people who are not fantastic artists. Not pointing any fingers, not saying any names, but there are people who their art is not the most impressive art out there, but they will make more money than I will ever make because they are great business-minded people. They are salesmen, they know how to market their stuff, and they know how to move it. Personally, I like to try and make my art as good as I can make it and feel confident about selling my work and trying to do it in a way that actually makes me money too. So here are the ways that I found to make money on my art. So personally, for my wife and I, we're both artists. We both contribute to making the art and making the money for our household. We have found 3 ways to bring in streams of income. The first is through commissions. Someone reaches out, they say, hey, can you paint this? You say, sure, this is how much it costs. We paint the picture, they pay it. Second way is through online sales. You can have an Etsy shop, a personal website, whatever you sell on. You can absolutely make any of those platforms viable. You just need to do it right. And our third and most profitable income stream is actually in-person shows. So we do Comic-Cons, we do in-person art events, farmers markets, wherever you can set up an art in the park event, things like that. Those are actually where we make the majority of our income. And that third method is what I really want to focus on for this video, because I feel like this is the most slept on method that a lot of people don't even know is as viable as it is. We do that third method mostly through these guys. These are our 11x14 fine art prints. Now, the general consensus of what most people do at in-person art events and conventions and art shows is they sell their art prints for anywhere from $15 to $25. That is a very general, standard way to sell art prints. I personally tried that method for a few years. I sold small prints, I sold medium prints and large prints and some sizes in between. I had a $10 option and all the way up to like a $35 option. Now, I have moved away from that method, and here's why. Let's say I bring one of these 4x6 prints, and let's say I sell it for $7. Now, if I give an option of a $7 print and a $25 print, which one do you think that my customers are mostly going to buy? They're probably going to buy a lot of these $7 prints, and you might think, wow, I'm making sales. I need to bring a lot more of these. I need to put these on display more because I'm going to sell so many of these $7 prints that I'm going to end up making a lot of money by the end of the show. I wouldn't recommend that method. Let's say I sell 20 of those little $7 prints at an art show. Make 140 bucks. All right, cool. Now, if $140 is your goal, awesome. You made your 140 bucks. Go home. You have some money to, buy some new art supplies, buy some new prints for the next show. Cool. Now let's actually talk about some numbers and some data that might surprise you. So at an average show, I usually don't make more than 20 sales in a day. If if I'm making 20 sales a day, if I know that that's how many sales that I'm gonna make, then I need to price my work to where I make the profits that I wanna make. Because here's the interesting thing. I get about 80 interactions in a day at a decent, smaller show. I'll have 80 people walk past my booth, they'll stop, they'll look at the artwork, they'll say it's cool, we'll have a conversation, and then the majority of the time, they will walk away. You might hear that and be like, well, I don't want to get rejected over and over again, so I'm just going to lower my prices and I'll try to make more sales to those 80 people. Now, if 80 people are showing up at the booth and on average, only 20 of those 80 people buy something, let's look at the numbers of that. If I had a $20 print and all 20 of those people bought the $20 print, I would make $400, right? 20 times 20, 400. Now, again, if you had a $7 print and all 20 of those people bought a $7 print, you made $140. Check this out. Let's say you had a $40 print and every single one of those 20 people bought that $40 print. You just took a $140 day and turned that into an $800 day. So here's an actual day I did just a couple of weeks ago. This was at a little holiday market, farmer's market outdoor show. I set up with my $40 prints. I made 17 sales. I do buy two, get one free on my $40 prints. So I had a few people do the buy two, get one free. I had an average sale of $56. I ended up making $960. Now, I kept a tally that day. I had over 80 interactions that day. Now, you might be thinking you only made 17 sales with 80 interactions. You got rejected so many times. Yes, I did. But let's look at some numbers. What if I had that $7 print? Now, if I had sold to all 80 of those people that interacted with me, every single person, if every single one of them had bought a $7 print, I would have made $560. A 100% conversion rate does not happen unless you are a celebrity level artist that has a line to your booth that every single person stopping at your booth is there to buy something. You are not going to make all 80 of those sales, even if you had a $7 print. So if you're only getting a small percentage of interactions to sales in your conversion, you've got to make every single one of those sales count. So don't handicap yourself by giving them a cheap option. Give your customers a way to support you that you can make money on. One thing I've heard a lot of people say is, well, I like having the small cheap option. I like to have something affordable for like kids and whatever. Okay, cool. Take your little 4x6 or 5x7 card, put your business info on the back, say, oh, okay, well, here is a free fine art print for you. My Etsy shop is on the back. Go and save up and buy one later when you can. I'm going to show you guys another example of using my method, using my numbers at a good show. So this was GalaxyCon Columbus. This was again last month in December, just on the 6th. I took a little tally of every interaction that I had that day. I ended up with 195 interactions total. I ended up making 60 sales off of those 195 interactions. So all day at this very busy show, there was people there all day, people walking past my booth. I only had 195 people stop at the booth, appreciate the artwork, say something nice, interact, and I had 135 of those people reject me. They thought my art was too expensive. They said, I might come back. They said, oh, do you have a card? And I still made 60 sales off of those 195 people. Let's look at the numbers of those 60 sales. So because I set my prices in a way that actually makes me money, I made $5,888. And that is with the $40 prints doing buy two, get one free. So most people take me up on that buy two, get one free deal. So most people spend $80. I also have $120 canvas prints and $350 large canvas prints. And that is very intentional. Now here's why I do that. When someone walks up to my booth, the question they almost always ask is, how much for the big one? I have these large canvas prints up on my booth. I say, well, let me give you the rundown. Those ones are large canvas prints. That's about the same size that the original paintings usually are. The original paintings go from anywhere from $3,000 to $15,000. Okay, so that sets their mindset. They have this really high number in their head of, oh gosh, $15,000. That's a lot of money. I say, okay, but these are canvas prints. These are reproductions. These are the closest you're going to get to the original painting without spending that kind of money. These ones are only $350. Okay, so now I've taken a $15,000 price tag and brought it down to $350. Now, most people are still not going to spend $350 on an impulse buy. But I say, okay, these ones are $350. I also have this in-between size, my 8x10 canvases. These are $120. Now, with the $120 canvas prints, if you get one of those, you get one of my $40 prints for free. and my $40 prints are all buy two, get one free. So let's think about this psychologically. We've just taken a $15,000 price tag and given them a $40 price tag option. I've taken my expensive art and now made a cheap option for them. My cheap option still is enough to make me over $5,000 in a single day. Now let's say I had a $15 print option. This is very common. A lot of artists sell $15 prints. Let's just say at that exact show, on that exact day where I had 195 interactions and 60 people bought one of my $15 prints. So if instead of those 60 people buying my $40 and $350 prints, they instead bought a $15 print, I would have made $900. Now what if all 195 people that I interacted with that day, what if every single one of them bought a $15 print? If every single one of those 195 people bought a $15 print, I would have made $2,925 that day. But this is what we made instead. And this is why I say, do not undervalue your work. Price your work where it will sell. Price it where you will actually make money, because the odds of every single person that you interact with buying one of your prints because you priced it lower, it's not going to happen, and you're only going to make less money overall. Now, I've shared this method with a lot of people. I've talked to a lot of other artists who sell their prints for cheap, who are scared to take the leap and to try raising their prices. And a lot of them have not taken the advice, and a lot of them are still struggling to make money. Now, I have friends who have taken my advice, who have seen my numbers, who said, okay, I'm going to give it a go. Even if they are more beginner artists, even if they're more advanced, raising their prices always makes them more money. Every time. I had a friend I went to Twin Cities Con with a few months ago that was in Minneapolis. I ended up having about an $8,000 weekend at that show. My friend was in Artist Alley. He paid about $400 for his booth, and he did not make his booth fee back. He did not make any profit at the end of the weekend, whereas I made the $8,000. And he was like, man, what am I doing wrong? How do I get to your level? And I was like, dude, honestly, you just got to raise your prices and you got to have some confidence. He was like, man, I don't know if I can do that. I was selling $7 prints. I was selling $15 prints, and just no one wanted them. And I was like, okay, what happens if you raise your prices? Like, what's going to happen? He's like, well, I might not make money. It's like, you already didn't make money. That friend took some of my advice. We sat down, we talked about how to get his business to be a little more streamlined, a little bit more successful. He went to a one-day holiday market a few weeks ago. It was in a high school gym, and it was negative 40 degrees outside. There was only 3 hours where he was able to be set up and where people could come in and buy something. In that 3 hours, he made over $800 by raising his minimum to 40, by giving them a high dollar $350 canvas print option. He made over $800 in 3 hours. Because I know some of you might be thinking, well, Aaron, your art's good and you have social media following. Yes, that does help. But even with this friend, who his art is still really good, he doesn't have quite the social media following I have, and he doesn't go to the same conventions that I do where I'm getting 195 interactions a day. He still made enough money to cover his booth fee and to bring home some really good profit. One of the main things you gotta remember when trying to do a successful art business is you just gotta have a lot of self-confidence. You gotta be willing to take the leap and to try something that everyone around you is telling isn't gonna work. They're gonna say, well, dude, your prints are too expensive. You're not gonna make any sales. If you sell a $20 print, at least you'll make some money. You're gonna make money. People who wanna buy your art, they're not buying it because it's $20. They're buying it because they like your work. You have to present yourself as an artist who is confident in their own stuff, and you have to present yourself as having a nice item. If someone wanted cheap, they could go and get a cheap art. If someone wants something from an artist that they are interacting with, that they like your stuff because it's your stuff, they're going to spend whatever you want to ask for it. I have another friend who sells his prints for even more than I do. He sells these large, just paper prints, kind of like mine. They're a little bit bigger, but his minimum price is like $60, and he still makes way more money than I do. And this guy's art it's good, but people are buying it because he's so personal. He's so confident in his work, and he markets himself as a confident, successful artist who is proud of his stuff, and that's what they're buying. Do the same thing with your online sales. If you only sell your art online, sell your art where even if you're only making a couple of sales a month, it can still make money. by selling the prints for $40. I have my online shop and I sell 1 or 2 prints every few days. It's still enough to pay my bills, even if I only sell that amount of prints. I get people asking me like, oh Aaron, why are you like just giving out this information for free? The reason being, because when one person starts selling their prints for $40, the next person might feel confident enough to sell their prints for $40. When our audience walks around in a convention, in a show, and they see every artist selling their prints for $15, their mindset is that prints are $15. And then when they come up to the guy that's selling $40 prints, all of a sudden I am the most expensive one in there. I'm okay with that. I want to present myself as nice as the high-end name brand artist. You can absolutely do that too. But when everyone walks around and they see that everyone in that room is selling $40 prints, now prints are $40. Now when someone sells a $40 print, they're like, okay, cool, $40 print. Now the next guy, I can raise my prints to $60 if I wanted, because now I want to be the most expensive one in there. If everyone is selling their prints for $40, our audience has that herd mindset. They see people buying prints for $40 and they go, oh, people are opening their wallets. I want to open my wallet too. I want to get something nice too. I see someone walking around with a handful of prints that they spent $40 on. I want a handful of prints in my hand too. And that is a very common thing that I see happen all the time. When one person starts selling a lot of prints, everyone around them starts doing a little better, because people see people buying stuff and they want to get in on that too. We as artists, we're a community. We're not each other's competition. There's enough money to go around, especially at a convention or at an art show. People show up, they save up, they bring money to spend on art because they know they want to go and support a local artist. If you're bringing your art to a show, people are going to come and they're going to spend money on it if you are confident and you are willing to ask what you are worth. Because prints shouldn't be $20. Prints have been $15 to $20 since the 90s. A cheeseburger cost $3 then. A cheeseburger costs $8 now. Inflation's gone up. If people are willing to spend $45 at McDonald's for their family, why shouldn't they be willing to spend $40 on an art print, on a handmade luxury item? People don't need our art. They want it. People buy it because they want a little piece of our creativity, of our work. They buy your prints because they like you and your work. So don't sell yourself short. Don't sell yourself for something that you can't make your booth fees back on. Sell your artwork at what you can profit off of. Now get out there and sell some art.